The weather is getting colder and soon enough winter is going to be in full swing. So today's video is going to be all about winter wardrobe essentials. These are the pieces that are the most practical, the most stylish to have in your wardrobe, and always ensure that you have something to wear throughout this very long season, because it does go on for quite a long time, doesn't it? So let's get into it. The first piece is definitely a personal favourite of mine, and that is the chunky roll neck jumper, chunky turtleneck jumper, chunky high neck jumper, whatever you want to call it. These are basically my everyday uniform from about November all the way through to March. Knitwear is basically the overachiever of your wardrobe at this time of year. They're practical and stylish and will carry you all the way through the season. Definitely make sure to have at least one chunky roll neck, something like mine, because they will come in so handy. Not only are they incredibly versatile to wear, very stylish, very effortless, go with pretty much everything in your wardrobe, but they serve that practical purpose. It sounds really obvious, but this is the perfect item to have in your wardrobe if you are not so much of a scarf person, because this will save you from feeling completely overstimulated and annoyed when you're out and about in the cold, because I do think that's a completely valid thing. I think it's really irritating when you've got a bunch of different layers on. So if you've got a jumper, a coat, scarf over the top, especially if you're going somewhere where you're outside for a bit and then you're inside for a bit, it just makes you feel very hot and irritated. I'm definitely projecting some of my own feelings here, but I think a lot of people feel the same. And I just think that having a really good, warm turtleneck jumper that's nice and thick just perfectly doubles up as a scarf, and it will come in really handy for the times when you just need a few less layers. Going back to a styling point, I love a chunky turtleneck jumper for, basically day to night, anytime. Obviously it looks great with a pair of jeans, a pair of boots, trainers, great for daytime, but I think it also transitions so easy for evening wear. It's the perfect piece to pair with something like a satin skirt, trousers, satin trousers. You don't have to compromise too much on comfortability, because the pairing of a little satin skirt or some trousers just looks so effortlessly chic. I think it's such a lovely look. It's something that I go back to year after year for evenings out. And I just love the contrast of the knit and silk. I think it looks so stylish. Of course, when it comes to knitwear in general, materials do matter. So if you can, prioritize buying wool, cotton, cashmere, those natural fibers, because they will stand the test of time. They will keep your items looking new and in really great quality. They will be a much better investment for your wardrobe. And if you stick to those classic cuts, those neutral colors, you can really build a collection year after year that you don't have to replace very often. I have a video on my channel where I talk a little bit more in depth about items that you should prioritize buying quality if you can. And I do talk a little bit more in depth about knitwear in that video, so I will link it in the cards on the screen and in the description as well if you want to go and check that out. So because this is winter that we're talking about, I feel a second knitwear item is justified, and that would be the chunky crew neck jumper. And I think just having a few varied knitwear pieces will really serve you well during the winter, because of course they're extremely practical, we've covered that, but the winter is long and outfits can feel boring when you're wearing the same thing over and over again. So I think having a couple of different styles will really help to feel like you're keeping your style fresh and that you've got a few different outfits on rotation, even if they're the same formulas of knitwear and jeans, knitwear and trousers. Having a crew neck and a turtleneck is just going to feel a little bit different. A crew neck's also really useful for layering. You can wear your long sleeves underneath, you can have a little bit of the crew neck poking out as well, just add a little bit of depth. It's also much easier to layer jewellery with your crew neck jumpers as well. And if you are more of a scarf person, it's probably more of a comfortable piece to opt for your thicker, heavy winter layers. If you're out and about, it stops you having the kind of claustrophobic feeling of a turtleneck if you want to wear a scarf with your outfit. It's just going to feel a little less restrictive. And if you thought we were done with knitwear, then you were sadly mistaken, because we have one more knitwear piece to get through, and that is the thin knit. So something like a merino wool knit, a very thin, lightweight piece that you can layer under your coats and jackets, and something just to give you, again, a bit of variation with your outfits. Despite it being something that's not quite as warm as your chunky knitwear, this is absolutely a winter essential for me. I have a couple of thinner merino knit tops, and I would not be without them because I actually get so much use out of them. As I said, they're great for layering underneath other tops, but also with cardigans, with lighter jackets. They're a great foundational piece, and they still offer that warmth and comfortability without the bulkiness that you sometimes get with chunky knitwear. M&S is a great place to shop for something like this. You can get just a crew neck or a turtleneck merino jumper for around £35, I think, and you can get them in a bunch of different colours. You can get your core black and grey and navy colours, and then they usually do a few seasonal colours as well. And I just think they're a really useful foundational piece to add to your wardrobe. As a denim devotee, I would never be without a pair of dark wash denim jeans for autumn winter. It's a really easy way to change up your everyday style by wearing colours that feel a little bit more fitting to the season. If you want to hone in on those darker, moody tones for autumn winter, I feel like darker denim is a really easy way to do that without going and buying trendy colours or trendy pieces. I feel like it's a really easy way to switch up your style to feel a little bit more autumnal. I think your darker denim will pair so nicely with those autumnal colours in a way that maybe lighter denim doesn't. It's more of a contrasting outfit, whereas I think those darker, moodier tones feel a little bit more harmonious. And jeans, of course, are incredibly versatile. They work for any day, any occasion, dress up, dress down. They are absolutely a wardrobe essential, especially for winter, and they are an absolute fail-safe. A pair of black-heeled boots will never let you down. They are an absolute go-to. Something like a slim, low heel with a pointed toe will go so seamlessly with any outfit. The pair that I have are a great example. I'm obviously quite biased because they are the pair that I own and love, but these are from June, and they are a very slimline low heel with a pointed toe. Actually, it's kind of a square toe, but it's an elongated square toe. And the heel has a bit of a curve in it as well, which I think is a really lovely detail to keep in mind when you're buying your basics, because they can really elevate an outfit. And the reason that I love these boots so much, aside from all the other reasons I've just mentioned, is because they are so slimline and they just go underneath trousers, jeans, skirts and dresses so well. They just fit very seamlessly into all of my outfits and can really help to elevate something if I want to wear it for evening wear. The lower heel also just means that they are slightly more comfortable for wearing for every day as well. I'm quite tall, I'm 5'10", so I don't always wear heels, but I wouldn't opt for not wearing those during the day because they are quite low and quite comfortable. I don't feel overly tall in them at all, and I can certainly get a lot of foot time in them for walking around in all day. So if you're regularly braving the elements, this is a crucial one to get right, and that would be your winter coat. For practicality, of course, but also for style purposes. In the winter, the coat is the outfit for most of the time when you leave the house. So it's really important to get it right, and there's a few things to consider when it comes to your perfect winter coat. So if you have something that is a really smart coat that you wear for work because you maybe have a more formal job that requires you to dress more smart, but then on a weekend that's not necessarily something that you gravitate towards and you prefer more athleisure, more casual kind of clothes, that isn't something that you're necessarily going to want to wear. Maybe that's more of an extreme example, but hopefully you get the sentiment of the idea, which is basically buy a coat that you love and that you want to wear all the time. So think about the style. Does it work for your personal style? Can you wear it for a bunch of different occasions? Does it fit properly with chunky knitwear underneath, with thinner items underneath? And then think about the colour as well. Is it something that is going to go with all of your outfits? Opt for something neutral if you're unsure. I have a navy winter coat and I absolutely love it. It goes with pretty much everything. I don't wear a lot of black, so I purposefully chose navy because it's still dark and that's what I wanted, but it's not black, so I don't feel like I'm wearing workwear all the time. On to the next item, which is a pair of black trousers, which are obviously a wardrobe staple, and I personally think these work really well for autumn winter because they are such a great and useful alternative to jeans. It's like we touched on earlier, you'll probably have very similar outfit formulas as the autumn winter goes on: jeans and a jumper, trousers and a jumper, but it's just useful to have those slight variations because it will make your outfits feel like they're different. And as with a pair of black trousers, they are extremely versatile. You can wear them for day, you can wear them for night and make them a little bit more dressy and smart. There's so much that you can do with them. If you feel like black trousers feel a little bit workwear-esque, you can always pair them with a really oversized jumper and trainers to dress it down and just make that outfit feel a little bit more off-duty. If you are debating a pair of black trousers but unsure of what style to go for, I would recommend going for wide leg and something with a bit of tailoring. So perhaps that's a pleat down the front, a darted pair of trousers, something along those lines. I find, and maybe this is more of a personal thing, but I tend to find that black straight leg trousers definitely feel a little bit more work uniform. So that's something that you can do to make black trousers feel a little bit more stylish, a little bit more like they're part of your everyday wardrobe. Realistically, when it's really cold outside and you're out all day, maybe walking around a lot, you are going to opt for comfortable shoes a lot of the time, and that's most likely trainers. And I think when the outfit is the outerwear, as we established, when the outfit is the coat, the bag, the trainers, I love having a pair of trainers that have a little bit of personality to them, whether that is a slightly different color other than white and a slightly interesting shape. I think that makes the outfit feel so much more elevated and interesting. But I do think that you still have to have something that works with all of your outfits. So for example, I have the Nike Cortez trainers and they are in a kind of khaki green color, so they're not really so out there because that wouldn't go with the rest of my wardrobe. They're still quite understated, but they just give that pop of color. And then when it comes to the shape, they're not completely flat. The Cortez have a little bit of that. They're a little bit more rounded and slightly chunkier, but they still fit very seamlessly with most of my outfits, and I love that because I can get my wear out of them and they're something that I'll go back to time and time again. So I think it's a really useful addition to my wardrobe to have something like that on rotation in the winter. Having one great dress to wear in the winter will save you so many wardrobe conundrums, because when it's cold outside, you don't really want to dress up in the evening. At least I don't either. It feels like a real effort to put on something that is probably not quite as practical. It's not going to keep you as warm. It's pretty hard going. I particularly love this one from Hush, and it's a kind of knitted maxi polo dress. So It is not so thick that it feels bulky and it would be too hot, but it's definitely got some warmth to it, and I love the shape. I think this would pair so well with boots. I love that this has the little collar and the buttons. It's just a lovely going out dress that you can also wear quite casually if you wanted, and it can be an absolute go-to for you for those evening occasions in the winter when you don't necessarily know what to wear, you want to dress up, but ultimately it's cold and dark and nobody really wants to do that. I think this will be a really useful piece for your winter wardrobe. And last but not least is a cardigan, which is of course the ultimate layering piece and something that I use in so many of my videos as an example for your wardrobe essentials, because I really do think it works for any time of year, any occasion. It's just an absolute go-to. It's a very practical and stylish piece that's going to be really useful for creating a few different looks in the winter, whether that's a few different layering outfits or using it for your evening wardrobe as well. Obviously you can do all of the layering with a cardigan, wear it during the day, have a thinner knit underneath, and then have your cardigan if it's a little colder. Tuck it in, wear it as a layer, wear it over your shoulders to create a slightly more dressy look without having the casual layer underneath. Obviously that would be quite cold and drafty. What I would recommend doing is getting a V-neck base layer to wear under a cardigan like that, so you've still got the warmth, but you can kind of show a little bit of skin and it feels a little bit more dressy. So that is all of the essentials for your winter wardrobe. Everything that I have talked about will be linked in the description. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye! They pair very harmoniously with... You pick your timings really well. Percy! What are you doing? Do you like dark wash denim jeans? No? He's only got 3 legs, so he's not much of a jeans kind of cat.